Let me recap bulletproof leadership because our time is short. When I was police chief and leader of my organization, I was charged with keeping my community safe. Yet it wasn't me, but one of my officers that responded one morning to a madman with a deer rifle. Officer Mike Harris was ambushed at the local GMC dealership that sunny Saturday, shot right here below the belt line, shattering his hip. Broken and bleeding, he insisted on getting back in the fight, standing between the bystanders and the bad guy to fulfill a mission I was sworn to uphold. So what can his story teach us about effective leadership and an uncertain future? Well, it was courage that caused him to jeopardize his own safety and engage a gunman that really in a situation where he was clearly outgunned. He had a little pistol, this guy had a big rifle. It was compassion that caused him to stand between the innocent and evil. Bulletproof leaders make sacrifices for the people they serve, inspiring them to do similar things themselves. But there's one missing component there to bulletproof leadership because of the way a bulletproof leader serves and lives his life. Moments after the shooting occurred and the bad guy was down, I showed up on the scene. There were police cars and ambulances everywhere, as you might imagine. As I walked up, the only police officer not injured in this gun battle, a guy named Nick Fisher, saw me and said, "Chief, you got to check on Harris. He's hurt pretty bad." So we walked quickly over to Mike's location, and there he was on the ground in a pool of his own blood. Medics were starting an IV. I went and stood over him, and he looked up at me. I'll never forget the look in his eyes. It was pain and fear. And right at that moment, I really struggled with what to say because I thought there's a chance these might be the last words he'll ever hear. Well, I stood there trying to figure that out. Nick Fisher, the other officer, spoke first. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Chief, there's Officer Harris. He's been shot in the buttock." Forrest Gump? Who invited Forrest Gump? I was shocked. It was completely inappropriate, but I just burst out laughing. Mike's demeanor completely changed. He laughed a painful laugh. I grabbed his hand and we loaded him in the ambulance. Mike Harris would survive that day by the grace of God, as would every innocent person in that parking lot. I'll always believe, one of the reasons he did was the third thing all bulletproof leaders have, and that is a crazy sense of humor, right? The laughter broke through the stress and uncertainty of that moment, and I believe lowered his blood pressure, which I credit with helping save his life. Weeks later, I got to present the Medal of Valor to Mike Harris and two of his colleagues. I tell you, I've got to hang out with celebrities. I've got to work with executives from LA to London. But I have to say, placing those medals on the necks of those officers is the single greatest honor of my leadership career. You want to be an influencer? You want to create followers who will help you fulfill your mission? You've got to live life with courage and compassion and a crazy sense of humor. I know that's hard, y'all, because we live in stressful times. But I want to challenge you right here, right now, to stand up to the uncertainty of our future and become a bulletproof leader. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you very much.